How's it going, guys? I'm Robert from Machado Visuals, and here's a quick breakdown of a few cooking videos I recently shot. I'd been asked to help produce a few videos for a startup by my good friend and producer extraordinaire, and to tell you a little bit more about the project, here's Leslie.
This startup basically started with like a group of friends who got together and they were like, there's all these like Grubhubs and all these like DoorDashes, and we want to do kind of the same thing, but more on like the HelloFresh side, where you have like prepped ingredients that arrive at your door. The most important part, I think, was for the chefs to really feel like they were like alive and, you know, like you could relate to them. There was a specific feel that one of the videos that the client sent to me had, where it was like they were handheld and it was following the chef around, and it was kind of like moving as the person moves throughout the kitchen. And I felt like that was like really important to have. It definitely felt like you were moving like you do move in the kitchen, like a little bit, you know, and not in a way that feels like frantic or anything, but you were like alive and you were moving left and right and, you know, finding things. I didn't want anything to feel like it was like just in one place, because I feel like that's not how food is, you know, it's always like moving.
Our shooting location was up in Sonoma, California, and given the current state of things, I decided to drive. That meant everything I needed to bring had to fit into my car. Grip was pretty light, and instead of bringing a bunch of C-stands, I brought a bunch of regular light stands with grip heads so that I can easily fit them into a stand case. I have a few different transport cases I use for stands, and for this job, I was using the Think Tank Stand Manager. It's 52 inches long and is designed to fit C-stands with detachable bases, but I love stuffing it with regular light stands to keep things light, and I'm able to fit much more inside the case. If you're interested, I've left an affiliate link in the description below. Leslie had sent me these images prior to get a sense of the space and what we'd be walking into. My two big concerns off the bat were the large windows across the room and the faucets that would show up in frame. By identifying these problem areas beforehand, I was better informed during prep when choosing what equipment to bring. When thinking about which cameras to bring, I ultimately went with two A7S IIIs for a few reasons. One, it's easy to travel with since I'm able to fit two kits into one Tenba roller case. Two, we were able to stay pretty nimble because of the smaller form factor. We wanted a mild handheld look to give the tutorials a bit of life and allow for dynamic movement depending on where the chef would go. And three, we were indoors throughout the shoot, so there wasn't really a need for NDs. Camera A was our master. Operating was super easy since all I'm holding is a tiny mirrorless body. I had active steady shot turned on to mask some of the extraneous movements, and I think it turned out great. We put camera B on a syrup slider to use as our second angle to hide any of our edits. It would have been ideal to have a second camera operator on a tighter lens to follow the action, but having automated motion control worked since this was a lower budget project. I rated both cameras at ISO 320 and S-Log 3, effectively shooting one step over to help clean up the noise floor and expose the background where I like it. I can't stress how nice it is being able to operate without having to worry about focus. It's also incredible having AF during slow-mo. Being able to nail beauty shots in one take will never get old. I use Sony's multi-battery charger to constantly have batteries on charge as we swapped throughout the day. With 3 cameras constantly running, including our BTS camera, we never ran short on power. We used lavs to mic the talent and fed them into a Mix Pre 6. Leslie was able to monitor while also directing, and I wasn't necessarily concerned about clipping since we were recording in 32-bit float audio. Not to say that you shouldn't worry about your levels, but that's what we were working with. Both cameras, as well as the recorder, had tentacles, so syncing footage took seconds, and I left an XML of the sync map for the editor on the drive. Now, before I get into the lighting, I want to mention this video sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online community for creatives and is an amazing resource for people looking to further their craft. I'm a big proponent for quality information, and Skillshare has thousands of online classes that encourage genuine growth. As an industry professional, I always have a constant hunger to learn and explore new techniques to push my work forward. Following the theme of this video, there are actually hundreds of culinary courses to check out, from making your own sourdough to basic bartending 101. I know this isn't a food channel, but it goes to show that Skillshare has something for everyone. Apparently YouTube is obsessed with coffee b-roll, so if you're looking to up your coffee game, check out Michael Phillips's class on how to brew an amazing cup of coffee and watch your YouTube numbers soar. No matter the topic, there are tons of other classes you might be interested in covering video editing, color grading, writing, the list goes on. Annual memberships are less than $10 a month, but if you're interested, use the link in the description to receive a free trial of Skillshare Premium. In terms of lighting, I brought two 300Ds and a set of Quasar rainbows. I set up a 6x full grid and sent both 300Ds through the diffusion using the Fresnel attachment on full flood to achieve an even spread across the entire rag. This gave us a really soft source with a pretty even fall off, and since talent was 8 to 10 feet away, I didn't need to worry about drastic changes in intensity as the chefs were creating their dish. There was a fair amount of spill on the background, but honestly, I didn't really mind it. It gave a little bit of texture to what would otherwise be a plain white background. I knew that the space would have a lot of open windows and natural light beforehand, so I set up another 6x Ultra Bounce using the negative side to kill reflections on the oven and to also block the sun from ruining our set as we filmed throughout the day. Throughout these recipes, there were times we needed to film at the stove, so I flew a single Quasar tube using a Matthews baby boom as an overhead key. Some of you may have seen my previous video where I featured the junior boom, but it was just too big to travel with, and the baby boom is great because it can mount using a baby pin or junior pin, so it was a perfect match for regular light stands. I used bow bags as counterweights, which are super convenient because they're super small and easy to travel with, and you can wrap them around the boom arm, removing the need to clip them with carabiners. All in all, this was a super chill gig, and after we wrapped, we were able to eat some of the most amazing food and consumed far too many bottles of wine. Now that 2020 is rounding the corner,
we're rounding the corner. It's going away.
I wanted to take a quick second and reflect on this past year on YouTube. A few days ago, I passed 15,000 subscribers, and I just couldn't be more grateful. Just at the start of the year, I was at just over 7,000 subscribers, so I'm excited to see where the next year takes us. To show my appreciation, I want to do something special this holiday season by giving away one of my Blackmagic Pocket 6Ks. Since I haven't been using mine all that much lately, I've decided it's time to pay it forward to someone who will put it to good use. I've shot dozens of projects with this camera, from music festivals to commercials, and in my opinion, is still one of the highest bang for buck cameras out right now. For all the giveaway info, be sure to check out the description below. With all that being said, hopefully this video was helpful in some way. It was really refreshing operating on a camera as small as the A7S. The capability packed into this tiny mirrorless body always astonishes me. Speaking of which, who's excited for that FX6? I was able to get a pre-order in, and you guessed it, I'll be doing a live stream unboxing later this month. If you have any questions, obviously feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.